Hello you guys, Alexa Alchemy here for your weekly card pull. Today I'm going to be doing a reading for the week of February 20th, 2023. And this specific reading is designed and channeled for all of my Sagittarians. So if you have predominant Sagittarius placements in your chart, especially your sun, your moon, your rising, or your north node, this one is for you. Now, I do have a couple of decks out today. I'm feeling called for all of my readings today to start out with Oracle, I think, and then to move into Tarot if it feels necessary. But feeling like I might stick to Oracle a little bit more. So the question I like to ask, if you've never tuned in with a reading with me before, question I like to ask for the week, at least as a starting question moving into this, what guidance, what perspectives, what would be helpful for you guys moving into this upcoming week? And from there, we'll see if there's anything that needs further clarification or anything else, but we will start out with that. While I'm finishing up this last shuffle, if you guys haven't already, please feel free to give a little subscribe if you haven't already. If this video was helpful at the end, also, you're invited to drop a comment, let me know if it resonated, or just leave a little thumbs up so that I know that this one spoke to you. And if you haven't already connected with me on Instagram, social media, etc., you can find me Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube, everywhere at alexab.alchemy. All right, my Sagittarians. So, ooh, I like this. First thing that I want to bring up for you guys, I pulled for you the card of Moonstone. This card is all about connection to your intuition, connection to the emotional realm. We, as of the 20th, which will be the day that this is uploaded, there is a new moon in Pisces. The sun is also in Pisces. There's a lot of Piscean energy. Pisces is ruled by Venus. Venus is the planet of dreams, intuition. There's a lot of watery energy going around right now. And I feel that this card is definitely an acknowledgement of the existence of that energy. Now, my Sagittarians, and also, before I get into this, if you want, at the end of this video, if you want a little bit more insight about new moon in Pisces or Pisces and anything with the Piscean category, feel free to check out my TikTok. I have a whole segment that I do called What the Fuck Astrology, and I talk about what's going on in astrology and how you can use it and utilize it to better understand your life and your patterns and how you're relating to it. So anyways, moving back into the reading, and I apologize, I'm in a hostel, so there might be some noise and background noise in the back, but okay, intuition is a big theme for, I think, the collective, honestly, for everyone. Now, for you specifically, my Sagittarians, there are 3 cards that popped up that I feel will give a little bit more insight as to where you might see these things. The first card that I pulled up was the card of Amazonite. I pulled this one in reverse. For those of you who are not familiar, that's basically upside down. In the upright position, the card looks like this. Anytime a card is pulled in reverse, it can acknowledge a level of something that might have a little bit of shadow work for you, maybe a little bit of resistance, some level of self-care, or turning within and caring for or looking at yourself instead of projecting it or giving it to the world around you. So definitely a little bit of a come to home and take care of yourself theme here. Primary message of Amazonite within this deck is a level of truth and revelation, especially as it pertains to truth about life, truth about events, and like an unfolding of events. I feel like for some of you, there's a natural flow of things that are maybe occurring in your life, and you have the opportunity to experience those and work with those. And for some of you, I feel like there are inevitable endings. I'm gonna just put that there. Inevitable endings that you have experienced or are experiencing or are grieving maybe. There are certain elements here that maybe some of you are putting, because this was in reverse, I feel like some of you may be putting blame on yourself or blame on other people. And a very healthy encouragement with this is to understand that certain things, again, are inevitable. They will change, they will shift inevitably, and these shifts and changes are actually bringing to you truth and information and insights that you really need for your soul's growth and your soul's journey. That can sound very challenging, so let me now move into the more positive side of this. I also pulled for you guys the card of Lapis Lazuli, and this card is all about spiritual truth and spiritual enlightenment, as well as a level of unity consciousness and connection to other people. Because I pulled both of these and they both have themes of truth and revelation, I feel like my Sagittarians, a lot of you have experiences that might feel, they probably aren't gonna look spiritual, they might feel spiritual to you. Honestly, music is a big theme that's coming up in these readings as well for me today. And for me personally, and you can do with this what you will, I find music and dance to be incredibly spiritual. it's not like a thing that looks spiritual. It's not like I have a drum circle and I'm painting my face. It's like not a thing that's outwardly spiritual, but for me, inwardly, it lights a fire under my ass. It wakes me up. It helps bring my soul to life. And I feel like a lot of you are having experiences where you're being gifted really beautiful opportunities to step more deeply into that. Because I had pulled Moonstone, there may be some emotionality that's involved in this, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing. But I do feel like there's some level of coming back to yourself and your truth in a way that actually is like really waking you up, my dear Sagittarians. And I love that for you. I did also pull for you the card of Hematite in reverse. This card is kind of like the earth card of the deck. It's all about becoming a little bit more grounded and acting from a grounded place. There is a level of like practicality that comes up with this card as well. And I think that's a very interesting, not juxtaposition, but combination with having pulled Moonstone. Because it was in reverse, it does tell me that there might be some tension or challenge in this arena. And I feel like for some of you Sagittarians, your relationship to earth, materiality, etc. might be lacking or surplus. Again, this in reverse, to me, I'm feeling like imbalance is why this one is in reverse. So some of you may be really, really heavily focused on earthly matters, materiality, money, and kind of closing yourself off to the more potentially spiritual side or the spiritual truths that these events, the flow of these events are potentially revealing or unfolding for you. And those unfoldings are really a gift. But if you are hyperfixated on the physical or the physicality, I think it might get in the way of the spiritual process for you. So that is sort of a loving caution for you guys to keep in mind. I also feel like some of you may be potentially a little bit overly practical or not being practical at all. So there's an imbalance I'm seeing potentially between your emotions and your intellect. I am gonna pull to see if a few more cards want to come out to provide a little bit more insight as to what this might be implying for you. So, okay, right off the bat for you guys, I pulled, okay, here we go. Which one do I want to start with? All right, we'll start with this one. I pulled Apache Tears, which this card is all about releasing grief, releasing the past, and especially releasing things that are heavy or burdensome. So as noted, there might be some unfolding, some events that you've been experiencing. I'm not saying this in a futuristic, this is what's gonna happen, be afraid way, because it's not at all what I'm getting at. I think this is more, I really feel like a lot of you, like this is a process that you've been working with, whether it was recent and fresh or from a long time ago. I don't feel like this is brand spanking new. Like I feel like there are some things here, might be a little bit residual that you're kind of working with and working to release. And from the Amazonite in reverse, maybe that was something that, because these are both in reverse, maybe there was the death of something, whether it was a relationship, work, a job. This could even go back to like COVID. I'm feeling like for some of you, like COVID has killed something or a possible opportunity or potential within your life, and you still are feeling like not great about that. And if that is the case, my dear Sagittarians, I do feel like there are some opportunities for you to reconnect a little bit more strongly with your spirituality, your heart, your intuition, etc., to kind of realign your path if it's sort of thrown you off. I also pulled for you guys Diamond in reverse, and Diamond comes with a primary message that anything in your life, again in the upright she looks like this, anything in your life that has been a trial or a challenge is also going to bear fruits of beauty and strength for you. So for some of you, you're in this alchemical process right now of taking these challenging things, these losses, etc. You're mourning these things to create space for something more beautiful to flood in, and it is beautiful that you are creating that space for sure. I pulled Citrine in reverse and Orange Calcite in upright, so there's definitely some sacral chakra work for you guys, or that might be helpful. This includes like body love, creativity. This could be sensuality, sexuality, but this could also be creativity in the artistic sense. Again, going back to music, art, dance, something that, again, I'm gonna keep coming back to this. I feel like this is a really big theme for you guys, but something that is not inherently spiritual, but feels like it brings a level of life back into you. I feel like that's something that I would encourage you to really focus, creating a little bit of space for in this upcoming week. I also pulled, okay, Spirit Quartz, Emerald, these cards. Okay, well that one wanted to drop. Sorry, okay. These ones both have a level of theme with unity, consciousness, connecting to other people, and yeah, this level of like unity and friendship. So there's definitely, for some of you, maybe you've been isolating yourself from the collective, going back to the COVID thing, maybe that was why. Those cards are there is to acknowledge like this separation of yourself from other people or your community may feel or have felt like it took something in the way of opportunities away from you. But also for some of you, relationships. This is coming back to relationships. I feel like some of you feel like a relationship you could have had failed because of those certain events, and that was meant to happen because there were certain lessons I think that you were meant to learn as a result of that. Now, my dear Sagittarians, final couple of cards that came out for you. I pulled Amber in reverse. This one seems to also be a pretty big theme for this week. This one's all about healing family patterns, releasing karmic past or karmic ties. So definitely with that relationship card, I think some of you, there was definitely a little bit of resistance to that. Also though, I don't feel like this one applies to too many people, but it might apply to a couple, so I'll still say it. This card comes with themes of things that are passed down through the ages, whether that's like trauma and bad things, but also wisdom and lessons and whatnot. So for some of you, there may be some lessons, some timeless lessons that have been coming down to you from your family that you may or may not agree with. But I would just encourage you to pay attention to what is being passed down to you. What are you now taking on that maybe wasn't yours to begin with? And how would you like to relate to that moving forward? New moon in Pisces, new moons in general are a time for intention setting. So this is a really good time for you to kind of get clear about where you stand as a result of certain events or the flow of events, and what seeds you want to plant for the fruits that you want to grow in the future. So maybe just taking and paying a little bit of attention to those. Finally, an encouraging card for you guys, my dear Sagittarians. I pulled Smithsonite. I actually recently am finding that I think this is one of my favorite cards in the deck because it comes with a message of rebirth from chaos. This reading honestly is chaotic. Like there is a lot going on here. There was a lot of cards in reverse. There's a lot of things that are showing to me that a level of resistance that you guys have been or are experiencing. And Smithsonite really kind of just tells you like these chaotic moments, this kind of like crazy unearthed feeling, sort of an energy that you've been in or been working with, is also it's a storm that will pass and is passing. Anytime this card comes up, there's a level of stress relief that is on its way to you or coming to you. And this card also comes with themes of evolution. So if I go back to, good Lord, where is she? One of the very first cards that I pulled for you guys with the, there we go, Amazonite. Both green cards. Both of these cards have themes of evolution. Now, Amazonite is more about the evolution of life and the flow of events. Smithsonite is more about the evolution of things going from a state of chaos or lack of clarity to a state of more clarity and strength. With the Diamond card, also, again, there is these three right here tell me that there have been some really emotionally or some things have fucking rocked you to your core, my Sagittarians, and Sagittarius energy is explorative, all right? It's willing to explore new possibilities. So there's, I think, a level of that natural spark and natural pizzazz that you have that might benefit you to tap into, because what I'm being told, what this card reading is telling me, for this upcoming week, I think you can expect a little bit of clarity coming out of your situation. Some obstacles will likely be cleared, or you will be clearing some obstacles and creating a little bit more clarity for yourself, which is amazing and a feeling that honestly I feel like a lot of people really, really want. And finally, I feel like you're gonna get an emotional boost as a result of all of this. Even if it starts out feeling like a little bit chaotic, if it starts out feeling heavy and emotional and like you're grieving and letting go of things with the Apache tears, again, it's telling me that there are some things that you're releasing and maybe you're resisting that release, because when you release it, you know, it's like gone for good, and these things could be like really old, outdated patterns. They just like they don't serve you anymore, and you're ready to let those go. So that I'm feeling called to pull these ones out again, so that you can have more creativity in your life, a little bit more excitement, a little bit more fun and sensuality within yourself and your body and your life. So yeah, to create space for that, I do feel like there's going to be a little bit of a warning or a release, at the very least, some kind of a release that's going to be unfolding. If it doesn't unfold now, you can always set the intentions for that process to unfurl within the future at a rate that you're comfortable with. Some people, I feel like when something bad happens, they're like, I have to process this all at once so I can move on. And I feel like for you, that's not necessarily the case. I feel like for you, this may be a thing that you have been working through for a long time, or this might be a thing that will take a while to work through. There's something in the way of time that I feel like is quite lengthy in this process, and that's not a bad thing, and that's not meant to discourage you, because you are getting doses of energy and light and excitement to help you work through this this cycle. And so, again, having pulled the Smithsonite, the last 3 cards, I do feel like this is a really encouraging and positive reading for you, that any of those challenges, if they come up and you're like, holy shit, I'm in the midst of some big stuff, I'm in the midst of some challenging things, I think you can hold on to the hope and the faith that there is a rebirth that comes out of that chaotic process, even if you can't see it clearly with your own eyes right away, right now. So have faith, my dear Sagittarians. Explore what it means to live from a little bit more of a heart-centered place with these things, in the way of processing the emotions and also letting them go and moving into something new. You're a Sagittarian. Sagittarian's really good at that bigger picture thinking, kind of stepping out and seeing all the possibilities that are before them. So I love you, my dear Sagittarians. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm feeling called to close this one out immediately. So if you have questions on anything, please feel free to reach out and let me know. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere at alexab.alchemy, as noted earlier. Also, feel free to give me a little subscribe down below if you want to type or leave something in the comments to let me know if this resonated, or just leave a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. And finally, I will see you guys next week. So I love you, my Sagittarians. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll chat soon. Bye.